Hi everyone, how's it going? Ah, ¿Cómo están todos? A ver. I'm waiting for my friend Cristina to come on. Maybe you know her, Cristina Corban. She's gonna be coming on. We're gonna talk about happy kids, happy people, happy families, happy possibilities. Are you willing? Oh my gosh, what would it take? Oh my goodness. Hi, Joanna. Would you like happy kids? Do you know any happy kids out there? Were you allowed to be a happy kid? Were you given permission? So yes, gonna wait for her until she gets on. Let me know in the chat has your experience has been with happiness and children. Has it been like, oh yeah, tons? There's so many examples of that. Oh yeah, Or has it been like, I'm not really seeing a lot of happiness and kids together? Is that even possible in the same universe? Let's see. We're gonna talk about it. Man, I love kids. I work with a lot of them, and just so excited for this conversation.
We Hi. Yes. How are
Where are you
you?
in the world
Where
right
are you
now?
in the world right now? Well, I'm in Portland right now. Sunny here. Actually, a bright day.
Awesome.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
I hear myself as
I
an
hear
echo.
myself as an echo. Oh, you do?
Yeah, I'm not sure what
Yeah,
that is.
I'm
Maybe you
not
might
sure
want
what
to
that
grab
is.
some
Maybe you might want to grab
headphones.
some headphones.
Yeah. So
I'm
does
gonna do
anyone
that.
else
So,
hear
does
me as an
anyone else
echo?
hear me as an echo?
Hopefully not. Hopefully it's
Hopefully
just
not.
me.
Hopefully it's just me. Let me get these.
So hi
So,
everyone.
hi
So
everyone.
I'm Siris
So, I'm
Rivas,
Siris Rivas,
and this is
and
Cristina
this is
Corban.
Cristina Corban. Hi. Still echo?
Let's see. No echo. Yay! Perfect.
No echo. Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I was talking about just bringing up what we were going to talk about a little bit. Just okay, so what do you know about happiness in children? Were you allowed to be happy as a kid? Was that something that was possible? What would it take for us to have like most of the kids in the world to be happy and joyful instead of what I've been seeing, which is a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, a lot of bullying out there? And what else is possible with all that?
That's really great questions. So many great questions. And what I've seen with the tools of access, actually, just the question is that does that belong to you? Is just something amazing that if I knew as a child would have been really, really helpful. And I wonder how can we share some of these tools with our children and to have them happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, just
Yeah.
that one that you brought up about who does this belong to? I had a student in middle school that was on anti-anxiety, depression, and anti-anxiety medication, antidepressant medication, and I brought up this tool with him, and he immediately was like, "Oh wow, none of this is mine. I wonder if I can get off this medication." I asked him to, talk to his psychologist and talk to his parents, but he right away was able to get, wow, I'm just aware of everyone else who's freaking out and anxious and depressed. It's not actually mine. And it was a total eye-opening, like, aha moment for him. And every time I saw him since, he was just way happier.
That's a great story. I mean, and I've heard something similar with using the tools. So I just seen a taste of being miraculous with Dr. Dane here, and he was like, yes, and I had this little post-it note in my pocket, and I put it out there, and I just see the question, and reading the question, who does this belong to, and everything changes right away. And then I've seen Tiffany Teen, I think. She was saying that she put these questions in a school and children without making any big deal about the tools or anything, just the fact that someone sees the question somewhere, something happens. So what if these tools are really miraculous and we can use them, not necessarily making a big deal about them, just inviting with the question to open a door towards something different, and that who does this belong to, it's still the greatest tool.
Yeah.
And what else? It's
It's
possible.
one of
What
my
is
favorites. And I love
yeah,
acknowledging Tiffany and what she created with that, because not only were the
yeah,
children happier, but they increased multiple grade levels in their reading
yeah, yeah,
in
yes,
one
and
year.
grades and everything in, yes.
And these were all
So
children
what?
in special education programs. It's not supposed to be possible for something like that to show up, and yet it definitely did.
Yeah, so what's actually possible there? And I wonder if you, in your experience, have encountered some tools like working great for you. What would that be?
The Who Does It Belong to is a phenomenal one. And
Yeah.
also just expanding out and making and like softening my body. That's when kids are throwing tantrums, when there's a lot of like anger and upset, when stress in the classrooms and the hallways during transitions. When I'm willing to soften my body and like lower my barriers to just being space for all the kids and all the teachers in the classrooms, everyone just like,
Oh, yeah.
so that's one of
I
my favorites too, that you don't have to say anything. You could just choose it.
Yeah. I mean, you just showed us right now. As you were saying it and being it. Wow, so much space, and yeah, what an invitation that is for everybody.
Yeah. Like how much more ease and would kids have and teachers have and parents have if they use just those two that we mentioned so far? Who does this
Yeah,
belong to? And let's just be more the space that we actually
space
are. Like that's really possible for us, and just let soften our bodies and go, whew,
and no
whew. Those two
barriers.
are a dynamic duo.
And yeah, yeah, and no judgment. If we add no judgment to that,
I don't know they're ready to have no judgment there, Christina. That's a
you're
big
right.
ask.
Yeah, that's a big one. Well, actually, what if that wasn't that such a big ask, and we would be like you just were the invitation by inspiring, not necessarily by teaching it.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what would actually be possible? So,
I'd like to live
wow.
in that world. I'd like to live in that world where there isn't that judgment, where it's just, yeah, more of that.
Yeah, let's be that. Let's be that. Wow. Happy children. Were you happy as a child?
For the most part, I was, yeah. Um, in the early years. And then around like puberty, that's when it just went all kinds of crazy with middle
Yeah.
school, like fourth, fifth, sixth grade onward. You couldn't pay me any amount of money to relive that time in my life.
Oh my gosh. I have a picture of me here since I was like maybe 6 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This one.
Ah.
And I was looking at it and I'm like, when in my whole childhood did I have that serene open eyes? And because what I remember most was that I was heavy like all the time. you
Mm.
know and now learning about these tools, I realize how much awareness of everything and everybody I had. And I was wondering what happened to that little angel. Where did she go?
She grew up to be a
Yeah.
grown-up angel.
Yes, yes, and I've been through a couple of lifetimes during this lifetime.
Yeah, I hear that, sister.
So yeah, yeah.
I hear
Tell
that.
me, tell me something about your lifetimes.
Gosh, well, from from all of the stress of being aware of my parents' stress around money and my siblings and feeling like I had to take it on as the oldest. That was one lifetime. You know, that easy one in the beginning where I was basically running around naked and playing and splashing around in water and swimming and all of that. Like, that was the first one. And then it was like puberty and stress with parents' divorce and sibling doctor's appointments. And then it was me being really sick. It's almost like this, like it just taking on more and more and more of other people's stuff created all of these things. And next thing you know, here we are as older children, go from older children to young adults to adults. And we just have more and more layers of stuff that have been like caked upon us. Like I remember Dr. Dane here and Gary Douglas talking about how the tools of access consciousness, a lot of it, it's like as if we were that happy, joyful 2-year-old child. And then everyone else's points of views and their thoughts and emotions and all the stuff that we're aware of other people start getting like mud caked on that 2-year-old. And what these tools do is it's like a hose and you're going, and you hose off and you're washing off all of that gunk, all of that glop and gloom and blah of other people, so you can have that joy and that, oh my gosh, yeah, I get to play, I get to woo-hoo-hoo of that 2-year-old. Like, yes, that's one of my targets, is to be more and more like my 2-year-old self, where I was just walking around naked, playing, splashing around in water, not judging myself or anyone else, not having a care in the world, just be like, yeah, I'm good, life's good, parents love me.
Yeah. I can see that in you so much. I mean, that's fabulous. How did you find the tools of access?
Oh my goodness, my mom. I'm
Your
telling you, I picked
mom.
well. My mom is
See?
awesome, and she was in massage therapy school, and her teacher gave her an access bar session, one of the teachers, and she loved it so much. She took the class and immediately ran sessions on all of us and our family, and we all love it and use it as a family, and it's completely been a huge contribution to us as a family, individually and together. Like, all of our lives are different. Our bodies are different for the greater. It's been such a gift. I can't give my thanks enough to Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane for creating these tools.
It's so funny how the bars is like the first class in access, and yet it's like the fundamental stuff, it's right there. If you only have that, you're happy and your family is better, and everything all of a sudden is much, much, much lighter. So yeah, bars and children. How do we make how do we share bars with children?
I mean, one of the things I see is that the kids, they show up to the class. It's like as if they've been doing this for years. They walk in, they're like, I got this, from like 5-year-olds to teenagers. Like, I've had all these kids just show up and they just start using the tools and they get it. And they're looking at their parents like, how do you not get this already? Catch up, Mom. Catch up, Dad. Let's do this.
Yes.
It's so awesome. How about for you? How did you find the access consciousness tools?
Well, see that thing that you said earlier with the mud on you. So I had that realization through my different stages of life, like if it's not joyful, it's not me. And everything else is stuff that I've taken on. So I change it, because guess what? I've been that Nancy trying to heal everybody and so on and so forth. So I knew that something else is possible, and this shit actually does not belong to me. And then I've seen a video of Dr. Dane here talking about who does this belong to. And I'm like, wow, people actually do know about this, and what else do they know? And it was like, as soon as I've heard about the bars, I'm going to a bars class, I'm using the bars exchanging with my husband, and that's been absolutely great, changed our relationship so much. And yeah, I love that. I mean, I just love these tools. And it's recently with the children, Recently I started in the discussion with the X-Men and all of this. I started realizing all the awareness that I had as a child and all the possibilities that are there. And in my work as a healer and as a doctor, I actually somehow been very close to children, so that's near and dear to my to me.
That's awesome.
I love seeing happy children, and I know with these tools this is actually possible, really.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, one
yeah.
of my favorite sounds in the world is hearing children laugh.
Yes,
And
yeah,
so it's like, okay, what would it like? I actually now, as I'm talking to you, Christina, I'm like, I'm totally gonna change some of my ringtones to like children laughing because it
yes,
really like lightens me up so much. Like it, whatever worry or concern is in my head, I hear a child laughing. I hear most people laughing, but there's something in particular about a child laughing. It's like
yeah,
I'm worried about what? I'm stressing
yes,
about this for what
yes,
reason? Like, what's it just,
yeah.
it goes away. And that's why I love having the kids in my classes because it invites so much joy. It invites so much possibility. And I get that if more happy children in the world existed, if we had more happy children, then everyone in the world would have even more joy and possibility as well.
I love that. I mean, thank you. You just inspired me right now so much. It's like, wow, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for being there and doing what you're doing.
Right back at you. Oh my goodness.
And what else can we be for all of us
Hmm.
and
The
for the
whole
children
world.
that's within us? Yeah.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
Yay.
Because I so have the childish enthusiasm for life, and if anything,
Totally.
these tools are bringing that out more and more and more. So I get to like be like, yeah, and yes, and life, and living, and creating, and play, and let's go.
The playfulness, the light, the laughter. Yeah, yeah. Let's do this. And are you going to say something about our Zoom, free Zoom next week?
Sure, we could.
Is
Yeah,
it is this week actually?
it
My gosh.
is. It is. It's
I'm
Thursday,
yeah. Yes,
right?
Thursday.
I think
Yes,
it's the
Thursday.
30th.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's called Happy Children. What would it take? It's a free Zoom call. Basically, you jump on Zoom, which is a free application that you can download to your phone or computer, and you connect with us. We'll send you the login information. It's 2 p.m. Eastern, and that makes it 11 a.m. Pacific in the U.S. And then,
Yes.
depending on where you are in Europe, you can join us for your early evening. Maybe you can join us and watch us while you eat your dinner or have your after dinner
Yes.
treats.
8
um,
p.m. 8 p.m. Central European, and that's like 9 p.m. in Eastern European. I mean, like Romania and Russia
yeah.
and Bulgaria and so on. And 7 p.m. in England. Yeah.
And we're gonna have it
Mm-hmm.
translated. So we're gonna have
Yes.
Portuguese too. So it's gonna be 3 p.m. for Brazil. Um, so we're gonna have Portuguese. We're gonna have Spanish, English. Obviously, we'll be talking in English. Russian, Czech, Slovenian. Is it?
The
Rome-
Slovakian.
Slovaki and Romanian,
Yes, and Romanian. Yeah.
and Russian, and maybe Polish.
Yes.
I'm not. There's a whole lot going on.
Yeah, yes. And I was just talking to Radek, who will be translating for Czech Republic, and there's like 60 people registered for the call. So how does it
That's
get better?
awesome.
And what tools and what questions and what would you like to learn more about
Yeah, bring your
or
questions. We'd
share
love
more
to make it
about?
exactly the call, exactly whatever you would contribute to you and the children in your lives and to the world. And what could we
Yes.
create together to actualize that and bring that to fruition for all of us?
Yay. Happy
Happy
children. It's like even
children.
saying happy children just lights me up. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
and the information for that, you can just research and look up Happy Children what would it take on Facebook, and all the information's there, and we can pop in the link below this video as well for you. But hopefully we'll see you there. Let us know if you can't make it live, what questions you have. We'll address it on the call, and there'll be a replay of it too.
Yep. So see you Thursday.
Yes. I'll be there with bells on.
Nice. Uh-huh.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Siris. So good to have you here. Bye.
Bye, everyone.